everybody, this is your girl Debra CoCo, and make sure you check out Just Give Me the Mic on all social media. Also, check us out on BronxNet Channel 16 on Sundays at 10 p.m. And soon we'll be launching on MNN coming up in June, everybody. So stay tuned for that network information. Support. If you want to interview, make sure you hit me up on justgivemethemic12@gmail.com. You want us to come out and rep at one of your events, also hit me up for that as well. Love is love, everybody. See y'all soon. Support. Mute yourself again. All right, let me do a little countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, this is your girl, Debra CoCo, and you are now tuned in to Just Give Me the Mic. As you know, Just Give Me the Mic, we interview a variety of guests, and for each show, we like to have a nice learning component to it, and we like to speak to people from the industry to kind of give some advice, some knowledge, and to talk about their journeys. So hopefully new artists coming out in the game could also learn something as they're trying to enter this business. So I'm so happy tonight because I have Freeman Freejack Williams joining me today. And what I've heard and what I've seen is that you are well known with doing your music, and you work with so many people in the industry that who has made a big impact in the music industry. So, and you have a lot of knowledge to share with us tonight. So I'm very excited, and I thank you for joining me.
No problem. It's an honor. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting on this one.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm so thankful for that. But, you know, well known in California, started doing music young as a child. Matter of fact, like I mentioned off camera, I got your bio up. And usually I don't even read the bios. I go through it. But you have so many pieces that I want to make sure that we have a chance to touch upon the important factors. You know, from your bio, it says that you're a well-known California music recording artist, producer, and songwriter. You were born in Compton, California, and then you moved to San Francisco, the Bay Area, in your teens and stuff like that. So you've been working on music early.
Yeah, I started when I was probably about 13. No, 12. I say 12 because a major producer, somebody that's big right now, actually put me on at 12 years old.
Somebody who's big, we can't get the name. Look, I'm already being nosy in the beginning.
The legendary Tone Capone produced. I got 5 on it. Did a lot of scores for the movie Get Out, Scarface. He did like many people, like one of the hottest producers out. So he had pulled me in at 12, and we had reached the gap. He had went one way, I went another way. But by the time I came back to the Bay Area, he was already like on.
Oh my God! So you had the blessing of meeting somebody who, look at him now, he kind of catapulted your career, right? Because you was already doing music, but did he like kind of make an impact on you at that point on which way you wanted to go in music?
He actually made me take it serious because I was a young dude freestyling. A lot of people older people used to be like, listen to this boy rap. And they used to make me rap all the time through the streets and give me a couple of dollars for rapping and things like that. But he actually really showed me that I really had it and taught me how to be an artist. So I learned how to be an artist at a young age. I learned how to write. I learned how to write bars, count bars. A lot of things that artists just don't know how to do now because artists I work with, I be saying, how many bars you be like, what's bars? I'm like, you know what bars is?
Right.
I learned all that at an early age. I learned how to engineer. I learned how to make music, everything.
So which was the first? Your first entry into the game was being a rap artist? You used to rap. That was the first part.
Right. That's no. I wouldn't say rap. Well, I was like at 11, 12. I was breakdancing before I started rapping. I was in one of the biggest breakdancing groups in the Bay Area called the Zero Gravity. It was called Zero Gravity.
Okay.
And we was hip hop and we was breakdancing.
Wow, I love that. So you knew early, was it sports? That was your thing. You wanted to entertain, perform, and you had you kind of gravitated towards music. So my biggest curiosity being here in New York is that I was basically introduced to music like from the West Coast, like, you know, when Snoop Dogg, Dre, Eazy-E, and I always had a fascination with, you know, how music grown in the
Right.
West Coast. So you was actually a part of that movement, you
Oh
know.
yeah, I was a
I
part
know,
of it.
right. I know Ice-T, he came out, you know, and he kind of bridged the gap to make New Yorkers really pay attention. It could have been other artists, but I'm talking about like for my generation.
Right,
That's when I
right,
really started really noticing and paying attention, and I really had an appreciation for
right,
artists down there. It was never no East Coast, West Coast. It was like, yo, I love music. And
right, right.
I thought the difference in the sound and the way the music was produced, the flow of the music, you know, the artists that came from there, I just loved it. People used to think I was crazy, but I loved it from the start. I thought it was so creative and so dope back then, you know?
Right. Well,
But
my interest didn't come from I didn't get my influences. I didn't get fascinated by music through the West Coast. The East Coast caught my ear.
see, look at that. Okay,
I
okay.
love the East Coast. I love West Coast because that's where I'm from. But music wise, I feel like they're talented the way they put stuff together. So I love the East Coast.
So who did you listen to growing up
Well,
from the East
I
Coast?
was good friends with the Brand Nubians. Grand Poobah is a real good friend of mine, and Slick
Mine
Rick,
too.
Dana
Yeah.
Dane. Um, I had a chance to meet DJ Red Alert when I was young. A lot of East Coast rappers that I really had a chance to really link up with, like especially with Brand Nubians. They taught me a lot. Grand Poobah
Yes.
taught me a lot. Yeah,
I mean,
salute to
Grand
Poobah.
Poobah, I actually, one of my latest shows that I did was actually with Grand Poobah.
Yeah,
Like
that's my dude.
I run into him a lot. Me and Red Alert, that's my Uncle Red, you know.
Right,
He's
right.
like my mentor, like me and him I'm just super, like me and him are tight, like tight. He
Right.
always looks after me and talks to me and makes sure that I'm good. So you mentioned some Dana Dane, he's slick, laid back, like you mentioned
Yeah,
some good people, you know, and also
yeah.
Slick Rick. So how do you think that when you got into music production, did those artists kind of have an influence on your sound when you was
Yeah.
producing back? Oh, they did.
They
Okay.
drums, East Coast drums. I swear, I don't think nobody can make drums like the East Coast. Because I
Right,
know
right.
people tell me how to separate, how you know East from West. I said, well, East Coast do a lot of drums, nice drums, a lot of samples with bass lines over it. West Coast do a lot of original stuff, pianos,
Oh,
chords, bass lines, 808s, 909s. That's how you can dictate their sound by the instruments that they choose to use. You know, so I just incorporate it all. I use samples. I use everything. Mostly
okay.
I replay a lot of samples. Like samples, I sample them to the song and I replay it and I take the sample out to give it, to make you still think it's a sample, but actually I played it.
See, look at that.
Yeah.
So let's tell me, I'm just going to listen, right? Because you have all in all, give people who are not familiar with your background, tell us about you, Freejack. Like you started working, you know, with a lot of different artists in the business. Like
Right.
let's name, like tell us about some of your biggest highlights, some things that you want to highlight about in your journey of who you came across and had the pleasure of working with. Because I
Ooh,
see
do we
Tupac.
got enough time
I
for
know.
this?
I was trying to get you in the beginning. We have Tupac, we got
Yeah.
Wu-Tang, we got Snoop Dogg, we got, I mean, come on, Damian Marley,
You
Sugar
got
Free.
everybody. It happened.
Ah,
It happened a trip for me because, it started off with Tone Capone. We had this group with this guy named Father Dom, Tone Capone, another guy named Capone. At that time, they was just Oakland artists building, but they
okay.
became big. Like they literally became big. So when I left with Tone Capone, I ended up dealing with Antron from Tony, which was my god brother.
Wow,
That was
okay.
14 years old. Salute to Tron. So when I got with Tron, he had me going around with Tony on tour. So I rubbed shoulders with a lot of people like Heavy D and a bunch of people like that. So that right there gave me that influence part where I had major artists showing me how to do major stuff at a young age. So I kind of like slid around all the obstacles that people go through. And then I
Right.
ended up on the fluke. I ended up going to jail in like '89, and I ran
Mm-hmm.
into Warren G's uncle.
Wow,
He was in
wow.
jail with me, and he told me, when you get out of jail, you get out of here and do your time, get out of jail, call me. I called him. Warren G came to Humboldt County and met up with me. But instead of me going to Humboldt, I end up going to Miami, and I end up
Okay.
dealing with these dudes called Royce Records in Miami, who was like the biggest record company in Miami. And I had Lil Wayne was opening up for me.
Oh my gosh.
Rick Ross tried to sign me twice.
He did? And what happened? Now I gotta
This this
pause.
was this was way this was way before he was even Rick Ross.
Okay.
Lil
So
Wayne
what did
wasn't
he
even
used to
Lil Wayne.
do? What did Rick Ross used to do before he became an artist?
Well, he was an artist, but he also had a couple other artists, and he had this dude named E-Class that was his road manager, and he was good friends with one of my friends. And by he pulling me in with E-Class, I end up in the same limousine with Rick Ross. This is before Rick Ross was even Rick Ross. So they played my music because I was doing Billboard. I did the Billboard in 2010. I did it with Lost Boys, Nelly, and the St. Louis Lunatics. I was on tour with them dudes.
Oh my God,
So
Mr. Cheeks! Shout out to Mr. Cheeks.
Man, that's my dude right
that's
there.
That's my dude, Riz. That's my dude right there. Yes.
Mr. Cheeks did a lot of things. So it was trips. So I did that. Went on tour with Juvenile. That's when Juvenile first came out. That's before they even did the Hot Boys. This is all before all this stuff. So after I did that, I ended up. It was just a trip. After I did that, I ended up doing a show. I think I went to the Grammy Awards with somebody. Then I ended up running into a guy named Sky Baller from Frisco, and he called me on a fluke and said, "You want to do some writing for Dr. Dre?" And I'm like, "Huh?" He was like, "Yeah." He said, "I got a plane ticket. I can't go, but I know you write better than I do. So you want to go take this trip?" So I said, "No, better yet, give me the address and I drive there," because I just didn't believe that. It was just like too much.
Right? No, let me get there myself.
Yeah,
right?
This was like, I was like, no way, this can't be true. So this guy named Mike Lynn, Gerard Bible, and Jason Weaver, who played Michael Jackson, they picked me up at the airport. So they picked me up. As soon as I got into the thing, Dr. Dre walked in. He said, "I heard your pen was hot." I say, "It's like on fire." And he said, "Let's get to work." And that's what my career really popped off at.
Oh my gosh.
That did it.
That's first of all, I gotta backtrack because Tony is like one of my favorite groups. Like, so I gotta give salute to them. I love them. But to have the opportunity, okay, now I gotta fast forward again. See, there's so much information now.
It's so much.
Right, it's so much. And I'm like,
look, I can't forget about the first person to give me a deal, which was TNT Records. That was 1997. I got a major deal with TNT. I was label mates with Tupac, Naughty by Nature, Digital Underground. I was label mates with them, and they still manage me. It's them. Salute to Raul from New York. That's my other manager. That's on board. But I got the whole entire Tupac family that manage me right now. Everybody that managed Tupac manage me right now, still to this day.
Tupac is one of the artists that I wish, like if I have my bucket list, he's definitely on top of my bucket list. To be here in New York and to be so heavy into music like I was, I never got the opportunity to meet him or Biggie actually. So that's one of the things that I regret the most. But okay, look, where am I going now? Okay, so you done hit me with some big heavy hitters right there. So I'm just gonna throw out names. How was it working with Dr. Dre?
It was immaculate because a lot of I'm gonna be honest with you. I was so young when I first started that the first year was kind of more like a groupie because I didn't know exactly how to react. I didn't exactly know how to react to him, right? So
is he quiet? He looked like he's so
very quiet.
Okay, he looks like that.
He don't say much. He don't say much until you do what he asks you to do, and it's either good or it's either bad. If it's bad, he usually send you home. Like I seen it was like 10 writers in there writing, and it's like they was in and out.
Wow.
So, but when I first got there, the first day I got there, we did a song with me, him, Busta Rhymes, Jason Weaver, and who was that? It was a lot of people in there. Warren G, Mary J. It was all in the room, and we wrote this song. And it was getting late because it took like about 12 hours for him to get the verses down because the way I write, it was a whole totally different style than what he had.
Yeah.
The way he rap, no, it's dope. I'm gonna have to send it to you one day. It's on the internet, got a whole lot of views. But we made Jason Weaver sing on it, and he was cussing, and it took a minute because we had to talk Jason Weaver into doing it because he said his mom would kill him if she heard what he was saying on the song. But it's called Get Your Money Right. We got it did. So Dr. Dre was real cool. It's like everybody say, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Everybody say you smoke a lot of weed, you do a lot of this. The rumors that they hear about him, false. Okay. I know hands-on. I know hands-on. Like everything, all the rumors you hear about him is false. Like
he did get a bad rap a little while ago, but shout out to him, his creativity, and how he's achieved so much, man. You cannot take that and knock that away from him, on a business level. Salute to that man right there.
Yeah, he showed me a lot.
He taught
me a whole lot.
That's one of the most respected teams. That's one of the most respected teams.
you ain't rich yet off of Dr. Dre. I said, bro, I got more knowledge than what he would have gave me. He could have gave me $20,000 here and there, but the knowledge he gave me, I end up making 3 times that. Because he
See?
gave me so much knowledge, so many angles, so many connections, so many links, do's and don'ts. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It worked. It worked out. And he also taught me how to be humble. Because one thing for sure, you cannot be in the music industry nowadays not being humble. Because you can see being not humble either gonna get you dead or in
Right.
jail. Look at all the young rappers we losing.
Right.
Like
Pop
just we just
Smoke and all these
losing,
other,
man. Just
right.
and it don't make no sense. It's like, but I got a remedy. I know I got a remedy. I came up with a remedy that can fix all this, but I
What's
just
that?
can't. I can't. I can tell you, I just can't seem to get the others to come in and do it with me. Now look, we all know that the industry, the social media now raises our kids. Our kids do everything the social media tell you to do. So just imagine if all the artists, big artists, talking about the Warren G's, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg's, 50 Cent. Just imagine we all came together and did like a Ready for the World album, but just keep it going and speak more positive, more
Right.
stop the violence, more stop the drugs. Just think if we did that for 60 days straight, every major rapper, don't think we could change some stuff?
Right. Well, let's talk about that since you brought that up. I think that's a very important piece because you being in the industry from such a young age, right?
Yeah,
You've seen the transition, the flow.
exactly.
You've seen record labels open, conglomerates, you've seen things close, and you also seen a wave in how music changed from generation to
Right.
generation. So let's talk about that a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on that is that they stopped. I think the artists stopped like giving knowledge, man. They stopped. You know, you remember back in the days, KRS-One, EPMD, LL Cool J. It was all positive. It was fun, happiness, positive. They wasn't scared to talk to the youngsters. But see, nowadays, it's just like our elder artists is just not stepping up. My thoughts
Right.
on that is that we need to step up and speak. It's like I call it like the lost voices. I was gonna come up with a
Yes.
group called the Lost Voices, where all the lost voices come in and speak and educate the kids through music. I
I
got a
mean, because
plan.
no, that's wonderful because I actually had a talk with KRS-One about that too. Like it's almost seems like artists are forbidden to talk about positive things about our culture. It's
Right,
like artists are asked and influenced or pushed towards promoting violence and hatred and things that only
exactly.
tears down our community. So I see the wave of independent artists. You know, the independent lane is really big now compared to before. Everybody needed to get signed to get
Right,
pushed by a big machine, but now people are able to make money on the independent route.
right,
So you do have a lot more artists that are trying to push conscious music, but it's still not getting out there to the levels to where it could be heard mainstream. So it's like the big machine that's pushing us, keeping us down, right? Do
right.
you
I
agree
think
with
we get
that?
frustrated. Yeah, I think the artists get frustrated that people not catching on fast enough. So they be like, oh, the hell with it, forget it. But I think if we hang on to it, we don't hang on to it long enough. I
Right,
think we
right,
hang on to it long enough and push it long enough, we're going to change a few. We're going to change enough to where we can stop some of this killing, because I believe that it's going to get worse and worse, because every time I turn a song on, it's completely negative, like every
right.
song. And
So
I'm just
let's
to the
talk.
point I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that kind of music no more. So that's just what it
Okay,
is.
you made a conscious decision. I've
Yeah,
recently been interviewing a couple of artists that are now like, look, I'm not going to let the mainstream influence me. I'm going to say things that I need to say. And I definitely salute them
right.
for that because we need artists to take a stand and to recognize that their voices do influence, you know,
Yeah,
they are
yeah.
influencing people, and it can't just be about put your hands up, can't be just party tracks. I
No, it
mean, you
can't
got
be.
to be real also and share your experience. I think that's how Eminem got so big, not because only he was with Aftermath, but
Right.
just the fact of his realness of sharing
Yeah,
his highs and his lows, you know?
exactly. It's content. Yeah, it's
Right. His
content. It's all about
content
your
was
content.
exactly. So, I mean, time is ticking. So look. Tell us some of the people. So you worked with a female, right? What's she, a singer on Tupac song? And how do you say
Ronnie's
how? Right. I didn't want to say
Ronnie's
it wrong.
Levi's. That's my
Yes.
girl. That's my girl right there. That's a good friend of mine. We've been knowing each other from the Pac days, because we all was a part of the Pac family. She did
Okay.
Brenda Had a Baby. She did a bunch of other stuff, but man, that's my girl right there. We got an album that we just finished right now. It's a
Okay.
dope album that's gonna be coming out in 2021, and salute to Jamie Foxx because he allowed us to do everything at the Foxhole. So we did everything there. He supported us. You know, him and his brother Lamont. Salute to Lamont too from Foxhole. You know what I mean? The Ronice is the truth, man. I'm telling you, she the truth. You're gonna be amazed. We bringing real R&B back.
Okay, that's what we need. We definitely need.
No auto tunes, no
right, real
trap
voice,
music.
real voices.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. Yeah,
So,
she the one hooked it up.
So how do you think your production style has changed based on what you've learned and from the different people that you came in contact with? Because I mean, Snoop Dogg too, I gotta highlight him. I got a chance to meet him and Warren G last year up here in New Hampshire. Tore it down. I love both of their energy. Warren G is super cool. You know, I really enjoy kicking it with him. But just coming across like Wu-Tang and all these, like how does that sit with you? Like where are you at today? You said you got new music coming out. How did all these influences in your past kind of contribute to what you're trying to do today, what Freejack Williams is trying to do today?
Well, I'm trying to make sure that what work and what don't work. Cause like I learned a lot coming up. Like I also learned recently that what attracts the youngsters nowadays is the 808s and the hi-hats and it's clear. It's just it's not the music, it's the drums. You can take all the drums, you can take all the music out and just have 808 drums and just say anything. So what I've done is incorporated the drums and put real live music on top of it. I got a whole nother chemistry that I'm whipping up that's finna come hit them. So I also learned from the Wu-Tang. I learned from Dr.Dre how to do certain drums. I done took so much from so many people. I'm like a sponge. I just soak it up and then I put it all together and I create it. That way I know they can't refuse it. I mean, pretty much it might sound cocky, but everybody I produce for, they love it. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. That's all. And then the writing, like what do you think is some of the key elements to make it? Like, is writing your own material important, or is it, you know, is that one of the key factors, or is it how you execute it? Like what's the recipe, so to speak, that you think for like a new artist coming out today? What are some of the elements they should really have under their belt?
First of all, they need to really do it. They need to be thinking about doing it because they love it. First of all, don't do it for the money. Because in the music industry, the way it is now, it's a million rappers. It's like a needle in a haystack that's you're going to be the one that they pick. So first of all, you got to do it from the heart because you love it. That's the number one key. And of course, you want to do original music because you don't want to try to copy somebody else because you might get away with it through the little local situation. But when you get to somebody that matters, they're going to say, well, that sounds like E40 and we already got an E40. That sounds like YG, we got a YG. So having original material is also very important, but you also got to stay relevant. So keep your ears open on everything that's out there, but don't mock it. Just create something better than it. Listen to it. Create something better than what you listen to. That's what I usually do. I listen to the best music that's out right now, R&B, rap, and I create something better than that.
Do you think like they could do you advise that they listen to all kinds of genre of music and kind of not get locked in a box of just like hip hop and R&B, but listen to a little rock, listen to
listen to everything. They should listen to everything. That's why I say they should listen to everything that's out there, because that's why I do heavy metal, I do pop, R&B, I do reggaeton, rhythm and soul. I do every type of music because I listen to everything. And then just know what's good about it. My dad was one of the original. He was one of the original whispers back in the days.
No way! Wow.
So I used to be. His name was Alvin. I used to be with him all the time before he passed away. Rest in peace, Pops. But he used to be with he was a part of the group, and then my mom and my aunties and uncles was part of the group. So I had a chance. They used to play on Christmas and New Year's. They just played music, all kind of different music. Nice. So it's like some days I might make a song and my mom be like, boy, you know what song that is? I be like, no, I made it. She's like, no, you didn't. That's this song. And she'd play. I said, oh, shit. It's something, you know what I'm saying? I soaked it up years ago and I just ended up playing it out of nowhere on a fluke. So, yeah, they should listen to a whole lot of stuff, man. Do a lot of reading. You know what I'm saying? If you're a writer, do a lot of reading. It's a whole lot nowadays, man. You know, the industry is so different now. I almost got sidetracked from it. That's why I ended up doing movies. Now I'm into films and soundtracks. So I can incorporate music and soundtracks instead of trying to go up against the politics of the music right now.
Right.
I just incorporate it in the movies. That's all.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about, we got to get into your movie because I think that's also, I also promote that as an additional avenue because a lot of artists, they may not have teams, they may not have the money or the funding, but if you
Right.
could get your music attached to a good web series or film,
Right. That's your
that get a
lick.
lot of views, right?
Yeah, that's your
You
lick.
could jump off from that. So let's talk about the filmmaking. Let's get into that. How did
Yeah.
that come about?
Well, Jamie Foxx talked me into that. We was out there working on some music, and he had a film that he was working on, and he was like, "I'm telling you, boy, you better buy this camera right here. You buy this camera and start doing films. That's the new wave." And right when I left him, I went and bought that camera.
Uh-huh.
I went and bought that computer. I brought the same plugins he had that he was using, and he told me about film. So I just started studying. I did my first film. I was in there. Who was that? I think that was Kane from Minister Society. He was at
Wow.
his house. So right when he started talking to me about it, I told Kane, "Hey, bro, I'm finna do this movie, man. You want to be a part of this movie?" And then a year later, I ended up writing the whole script, and I couldn't reach him, but Omar Gooding got back at me.
Excuse me, I was trying to hold that for a long time.
That's all
Oh
right.
my
So
goodness. No, he's also a phenomenal actor. I love
that's
him
what I
as
do.
well. I love this whole industry, as you can notice. Like everything just makes me like
Right.
smile and get happy. But so how was that transition? That's different.
That
Like
was
doing
crazy.
music. I know it had to be. So what were some of the things that you learned making that transition? Because did you know about filming? Did you have any
Well,
background in that?
I didn't have no background in it. Well, actually, I did a movie in 2018 called No Days Off, produced by a guy named Hooker Boy, and that
Uh-huh.
was I just acted in that one though. But I think when I started filming my movie, I watched so many movies. Like all I do is read. I watch movies. I study. I think I've been studying movies and angles so much that it was like a piece of cake when I did it.
Okay.
It was like I've been doing it for years.
So
Like
when
easy.
did bylaws, when is it Baylaws?
Yeah, Bay Laws.
When did it come out?
Bay Laws is not out yet. Bay Laws was supposed to come out the last 4 or 5 months, and we was gonna air it at the movie theaters. We had a premiere we was gonna do in New York, Miami, and a bunch of other places, but the coronavirus happened and they canceled all of our premieres. So
Right,
now we
right.
still sitting back. So I was thinking like, do I still want to drop it without being able to premiere it? So I didn't came to the point that I'm gonna drop it in January 2021. I'm gonna go ahead and drop
Okay.
it. And once the theaters open up, I'm gonna do some some premieres. But
So what is it about? Tell us a little bit about it.
well, the Bay Laws is about the laws of the streets that you know you're not supposed to break. Like they say, snitching, child molestation. You know, things that you
Hmm.
just know things that you know has a bad consequence to it, and it
Right.
shows the outcome of it. Maybe, and that's for me to convince the youngsters that if this will get you into this situation, there's no way around it. So I'm gonna
Right.
show them. I've been trying to tell them because sometimes I do motivational speaking around the world because I got nonprofit organizations. So I try to tell them out my mouth, but they don't get it. So maybe
Okay.
if I show it to them and tell them
Right.
out their mouth, I'm pretty sure they'll get it. More are gonna get it than not get it. So
Right.
that's
Given
where I'm
that
at with
visual is real, you can really show that
it.
impact.
Exactly.
So that is
Everything.
definitely important. So then I was told that you have a production, a documentary you might be working on, or you're going to be working on soon
Yeah.
called Ghost.
Yeah.
Is that the
Called
name of
Ghost.
it? Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
talk
called
about
Ghost.
that. Yeah.
Well, Ghost is it. I'm gonna take everything everybody want to know about all the people I worked with. Are they like they people say they are? You know how people say, "Oh, that guy's like this or this guy's like that." Well, my documentary is a tell-it-all documentary where I'm gonna tell them everything they need to know about my journey through the music industry. I mean, I got interviews from Layla Steinberg, who's the one who's discovered Tupac.
Okay.
Uh, QD3, Quincy Jones III. That's a good friend of mine. We did the Tupac Thug Angel documentary together.
Wow.
Layla Steinberg. I mean, mostly all the Bay Area artists. Keep the Sneak, E40. Everybody that know me is gonna be in that documentary, telling them what they know, what their experience with me as a producer and as a friend as well. I try to
So
keep it separated. I try to tell people, well, if we're gonna be friends, we're gonna be friends, but we can't let this music situation mess up our friendship because I done lost a
right.
lot of friends in this music industry. So now I kind of like keep it business and keep friends because I don't want that problem. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can. I mean, I'm not even big time, and I've even been through it. I mean, there's so many things that's under the table. You think people riding for you, and they not.
They're
You
not.
think, I mean, it's just people to turn on you for opportunists in the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like, forget it. I'm solo right now. I'll
Right.
record, I'll edit, I'll do everything because I can't take no more letdowns at this particular moment. So
No,
to
no,
keep
no,
the
no, no.
smile on my face and to keep me moving positively,
Right.
I go solo. You know what I mean?
That's
Until I
right.
until I come across somebody else that I feel really share the same passion and drive. You know?
Right.
Like
Right.
I
Right.
eat and sleep this. I just became an actress myself, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've been growing. It's all about growing and challenging yourself, to take it to the next level. So I'm trying to enjoy the journey and not be caught
Right.
up in all the negative aspects of it,
Right.
because I want to keep riding. I want to keep growing. So I'm gonna throw out a name, Tupac. How was it working with Tupac? I still
Well,
got a couple of
well,
minutes. I'm riding all the way
well, me
out.
and
You know what I
Pac, me
mean?
and Pac had more. We had more of a street relationship than music relationship because at the time when he was popping, I was in the streets, like
Okay.
in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Industry. Okay.
So when I came in '97, it was '96 if I'm not mistaken. By the time I came in '96, that's when he had went over to Death Row. And I was talking to Adrian Gregory, salute to Adrian, which is my producer, still my producer from TNT Records. He's a great person, you know what I'm saying, my godfather as well. He said, well, we're gonna get something done with Tupac. And I'll be damned. The day my record came out, Pac got shot.
No way.
The day my record,
Wow.
I remember 12 o'clock midnight, we was like celebration. The record came out. And we like, yeah, my first record, V.S.O.P. came out, did 10,000 units overnight. And that was just that was in like the early 90s. And he was like, got bad news. And we like, what's going on? He said, man, Pac got shot. I said, oh man. And then
Goodness,
that was
goodness.
that. The next
Right.
day he was gone. That's the next day. So
Goodness.
it was that's how that went. But the relationship wise with Pac was good because we did a lot of talking. I also learned a lot from him too as well when he was alive. Because we always it was like a family, like me, him, my cousin Yanni, my brother Papa, my brother Man, who was managing him. That's the one who was his road manager the whole time. Man. We
Okay.
always like a family. So it was
Wow.
all good. Everything. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. All my experiences in the industry was good. I had one bad experience. It was that Bad Boy. That's the only experience I ever had with Black Rob. That was the worstest. That's the only time I got into a situation with anybody in the industry was with Black Rob.
Wow. I see Black Rob all the time. I said,
That
I
nigga,
said,
hey, he was crazy. He had such a big head back then. Like he just was just an industry bully.
he was. Oh my God.
Yes, he was.
You
Black
should see him
Rob, was
today. He's so
yeah.
mellow
When
and
you tell
laid
him, say
back.
Freejack ain't forgot about that bullying you was doing. We was at
Okay.
CoCo's. We was at CoCo's. We was at CoCo's strip club. Me, it was who was that? Trick Daddy and somebody else's club. What was the rap girl he had? Trick Daddy. What was her name? I can't
Not
think of her name.
Trina. Not
Trina.
Trina.
Yeah,
Oh,
Trina
he
and
did.
Trick Daddy.
Okay.
Yeah, they was at
Okay.
CoCo's and I had a Freejack had a towel on my head and Black Rob walked up and snatched my towel off my head and I turned around and said, bro, what's your problem? He was like, what you mean what's my problem? Ain't that for people to wear? I said, bro, you just snatched the hat off my head. And my manager was like, leave that alone, Free. And then Trick Daddy was like, yeah, leave that alone. People get stabbed around here. And I'm like, what? Because, I'm not from out there. I'm from the Bay Area.
Right.
They thought people get stabbed. I'm like, okay, let's get up out of here.
Right.
That's the only
Right.
bad experience I ever had. I had. That's it. The rest of it
Oh
was.
my
I had a smooth
God.
ride. I had a smooth ride.
You was born into the game. So you brought up that whisper thing later on. See,
Right.
you was
Right.
born into it. You had a great journey. You worked
Yep.
with some of the greatest people from our
Yep.
era and generation in music. And now you done evolved into films and putting
Yeah.
out, another lane of great work. So
Right.
looking back, is there anything that you wish was different or is there any avenue that you didn't take that you wish you would have took? Like, give us some feedback on just a reflection going back.
Well, I think I really know what I wish I would have done. I was most of my career I was like starstruck. I'm not scared to say it. So I wish I would have took more advantages of situations that I had, and I didn't because I was so
Okay.
just happy to be with this person, happy to be around this person instead of utilizing it. I never got a chance to tell Dr. Dre that I could even rap.
You just
And
went
I
in
was
and
at my
did what you
peak.
was there for.
I was at my peak at that time. Like if I would have rapped for him, I don't think, I'm gonna be honest, if I would have rapped for him back then, 50 Cent when it came out,
For real?
I guarantee that 50 Cent when it
Wow.
came out. A lot of rappers would have came out under Aftermath, but I just was so nervous and excited at the same time. I just was writing, trying to get the
Right.
best out of my writing instead of telling them what I was doing. That's the same thing at Bad Boys and at every other major label I was at. I just didn't utilize the opportunities and like I should have. That's what
That's
I
a good
regret.
point. That I
One
mean,
more thing. One more
no,
thing I
go
didn't do.
ahead. No, go
One more thing I didn't do. I also didn't even give my praises to God either though. I think that's a lot of my blessings didn't work either because I at the whole 13 years I was chasing my dream, I never talked to God.
That's
So
important. That's
you feel
important.
me?
Right,
And I
right.
didn't. Whether they say he real or whether they say she's real or whatnot, I still never took that motion to do it. But I've done it in the last year and things been smooth for me.
But you know what? It's kind of after hearing everything and reading your bio, and then for you to say that things didn't work out, I'm like, what didn't work out? You know?
Well,
Think about it.
I should be a triple millionaire right now
Okay,
you
okay,
know what I'm saying?
okay.
I should be like right there with Dr.Dre and them right now, like all the way up. I mean, I'm in and I'm good, but I'm not where I know I should be. I should be
Okay.
much further.
So if you don't use the aspect of you not rapping to Dre, right? And
Yeah.
all the people that you work with, what didn't you do that you should have done?
What
Where
did I
you could
do?
be right. What didn't you do that you should
Yeah.
have done? You know?
What I didn't do that I should have
Yeah,
done?
yeah. Is it like should you have made sure the contract was different? Should you have made sure that more
You know
things was
what?
on paper? Like
You're
what?
right. You know what? You see, I'm glad. See, look, I just told Raul. Salute to you, Raul. That's my great manager. Look, he did tell. Look, glad you said that because I told him. I said I done had a lot of interviews and they don't answer they don't ask the right questions, and you asked the right questions. Like I didn't even expect you to throw certain questions at me, but you're right because I didn't sign contracts, and there's a lot of music out there that I've produced and I did
Right.
not get credit for. You right. You
Okay.
100%. Like
Okay.
I did in a club with 50. I played music on that. I didn't get no
Wow.
credit for that. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? I did a lot of music for Christina Aguilera. I didn't get nothing for that. I
Wow.
did a lot of music for a lot of people. I didn't get nothing too. So you're right. Artists is out there. Make sure your paperwork is together, and make sure don't nothing slide past you. Go ahead and register yourself for BMI, ASCAP, because when they start dropping the records, they drop them everywhere. And if you don't know, you ain't gonna know. Because I just now recovered like $50,000 in royalties. I just got a plaque from Master P Bout It movie. I forgot I even had something on that.
Wow.
And I just now recently found out, thanks to Raul. Raul put me up on that. I just now got that.
I mean, I appreciate Raul for reaching out to me to even do the interview, but you know, I'm just really feeding off what you're saying because outside looking in, it looks like everything was phenomenal. So I'm glad that we had a chance to throw this into the conversation, right?
I'm glad you brought it up.
Right, this is a very good piece to even
This is the most
elaborate on.
important. This is
Right.
most important because it's like nowadays, and I'm telling y'all, they probably be mad at me for giving the artists this game, but I feel like enough of people getting beat is enough. These record companies right now, distribution got places to send your music where you'll never know where it's at, and they're gonna be making $100 off every time your shit is on out there. So you need to straight up. I'm talking about out of the state, out of the country. I mean, you got to make sure your paperwork right and stay on top of your music because I'm telling you, I found over $50,000 worth of music of mine being sold, and I did not know nothing about it because it's overseas somewhere.
It's probably more. So keep
I'm pretty
checking.
sure I'm 100%.
Right.
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, I guarantee
it. Right. Keep checking. I'm quite sure there's more. Because like you said, as some companies went under, everything is under one umbrella. It might be a little bit easier to trace your funds nowadays.
Oh, it's easy now.
Right. It's easier now, especially with the digital. You know, if they play a little snippet of something, oh, it's registered. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it. Right, 40 seconds, right, and they can calculate it. So,
that's a count. That's it. Yeah, that's what's up.
I mean, like I said, I mean, this industry is pretty much open to a lot of different avenues, a lot of different things you could do in this industry. There's a lot of room for growth. But like you said, just take the time to research, to listen to other people's stories. I know when New Edition came out, everybody's like, what? They didn't get paid. Like, you got to really pay attention to what these people have gone through, before you, because it can happen to you. It can definitely happen. You can't trust your lawyer. You got to verify your lawyer. I know you might pay your lawyer to handle your business, but you better get as much knowledge under your own belt as you can, because you can't really trust nobody. You can't
even trust a lawyer. You can't even trust a lawyer, because if a lawyer money get funny and you sitting on 50 or 60 bands and he got $20 in his account, trust me, he gonna figure out some kind of way to get a piece of that money. Y'all gotta be humbled out there. Y'all gotta stay focused. And don't be so hungry to accept upfront money either, because they giving people $5,000, $20,000 up front. And once you take that money, you in trouble. You might be good at that time, but
are they still signing artists right now? Are artists still getting signed?
Yeah.
So like what level? So what level? Like how does that work?
Well, they sign them to distribution deals. They're not really so much giving you artist deals unless you're a major artist. But they're giving distribution deals out. They're giving you like 80-20, you know what I mean? It depends on who you are and what kind of artist you are. And, I advise artists nowadays to just take the distribution, you know what I mean? Don't keep all your publishing, because they definitely trying to take your publishing. I wouldn't give up none of my publishing. If you didn't help me write it, I don't think you're obligated to my publishing. Period. I would give them 10%. Give them 10%, and you take 80, or give them. 20%. You take 80, they take 20, or they take 10, you take 90, because they beating us out there. They beating us. And
publishing is where the money's really at, because right now, for example, you can't really do too many shows and concerts where you would get that kind of money traveling.
Right.
So you better hold on to that publishing tight. You know,
you got to hold on to that tight. You got to make sure you're publishing tight. Put out much material as you can, good or bad. Just flood the industry with everything you got, and I guarantee it, something gonna catch. It never fails.
Well, look, we are out of time, but I really enjoyed this conversation with you. I wish we had more time.
Part two.
You beat me to it. I was about to say we got to do a part two.
I got more to tell you.
Because you know what? I want to break down the elements of the music industry, today versus before, contracts, all that kind of stuff, which I'm quite sure that, we can share some good information. So where can people follow you on social media and check out some of your music?
You can follow me on Instagram, Freejack_music on Instagram, or Freeman Williams on Facebook, or you can go to my website. You get everything you need, www.freejackofficialmusic.com, www.freejackofficialmusic.com. You jump on that, you can contact me, and I'm a networker, so I like to network. So if y'all need to network, let's network. I don't care what it is. My email is there. You go check me out, man. Salute. I love y'all. Stay blessed.
Thank you so much. We will talk again. And please let me know when you do those premieres for your films, because I definitely would like to come through, maybe do some red carpet interviews or something for you.
I'm trying to come to New York. I'm trying to come to New York and do some cypher with you, for real.
Oh, for real? Oh, that would be dope. That would be dope. Okay, so we got to set something up. All right, thank you so much. And we'll be back, everybody. That's Freejack Williams. Make sure you support, follow, check it out, network, connect, all that. Right back.
Thank you.